our acharyas why we need to have faith in the Lord. So first of all, faith provides strength during challenging time. How many of you agree? Anyone disagrees? So faith in the Lord provides strength in challenging time. So actually, when we have faith in the Lord, we are not feeling alone. We know that He's always there with us, and we are not going to fail with whatever we are doing. So when we know He's present with us, then there is no fear, right? So we don't even know where that strength is coming from, but when we know that He's with us, we always get strength into overcoming any type of challenges. Faith can be a source of comfort and reducing the feeling of isolation and helplessness. So again, when we know that the Lord is here with us, we don't feel alone. So how many of you came from your motherland to Canada? I think all of us are immigrants here, right? How many, maybe the small kids are born here, but most of us have left our home country and came to Canada. And when we came here, we feel that isolation. Like, in Canada, this one of the most common, biggest issue that people have is loneliness, right? But when you know that Krishna is with you, how can you be lonely? When we feel the presence of the Lord every single day and time with us, then we can't be lonely. The moment you wake up, we are thankful that we are breathing. We are thankful that we are able to see. We are thankful that we are able to hear. We are thankful that we were able to wake, because sometimes some people will be sleeping and they don't wake up. Right? And why is all this happening? It's only because Krishna is with us and He's making this happen. Right? If we feel His presence in every moment, then there won't be isolation. We won't feel isolated. Faith also enables us to take risks and embrace opportunities and persist in the face of setbacks. So when we are faced with challenges, sometimes we get worried, like, how can I do this? How can I perform this? But with the blessings and knowing that the Lord is with us, everything is possible. So in our Shastras, there are so many examples of this kind of situation. Like, for example, Lord Hanumanji. Hanumanji, he didn't even know that he could jump the leap, right? He didn't even know that he could go that far. Because he thought he was just an ordinary monkey with some mystic power maybe, but he didn't know that he could go that far to Lanka. But with the reminder of Jambavan, plus with the blessing of the Lord, knowing that this is his mission, he's working for the Lord, then everything was possible. Right? So many things that could seem so impossible for us, but with the blessing of the Lord and with the faith that we have in the Lord, that He's going to be next to us, He's with us, that helps us to do what is impossible. Right? Faith often fosters a sense of community and belonging. Take a moment and look around you right now. To look at your left, look at your right, who is sitting next to you. And you all seated here today because all of you are having something in common, faith in Lord Krishna. That's why we are all seated here together. And when you know that you're surrounded by those who have this something similar as us, faith, then anything and everything is possible, right? I took this example last year when I came about my health when I was going through my journey with fighting cancer. It wasn't a battle that of my own. It wasn't a battle that I was going alone. The fact that each one of you were supporting me, some of you were calling me, some of you were dropping prasad at home, and some of you were coming to see me, then I felt it was not my battle alone. I had a full community with me. When you have that kind of faith, when you know that you're surrounded, then even the impossible becomes possible. Right? And you feel a sense of belonging because you have reliable support. And that's all because of our common faith in Lord Krishna. Faith also inspires us to seek wisdom, cultivate virtue, and pursue a life of integrity and purpose. All of us chanted one round earlier, right? And many of us are chanting every single day. How many of us are chanting every single day? Yes. So those of you who are not chanting yet, I would encourage you to chant. Because when we are chanting, when we are we have faith in the Lord, we are encouraged to do something additional for Him. We want to remember Him all the time. And how we are remembering Him is by chanting His name. And when we are chanting, there is no difference between the Lord's name and Himself. So when we are actually chanting His name, He's present there, right there with us, right? Our kids are on the Sunday school over there in the other room. Right now, if I say Devansh, he's not hearing me, right? But if I say Krishna, he's hearing. There's no difference between Krishna's name and Himself. So He's right there present with us. And when we have faith, we want to know more about Him. How do we know more about Him? We want to know what He said. So we read the Bhagavad Gita. And we want to know more about Him. We want to know what He did. So we read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Many of you, most of you are Grihasthas here who got married either by arranged marriage or love marriage. Right? So those who were, how many got arranged marriage? Yeah? Love marriage? Okay. Either way, love marriage or arranged marriage, you wanted to know who's that other person I'm getting married to, right? You did some research, yes or no? Because you're going to spend your whole life with that person. So when you're putting your faith on Krishna, don't you want to know more about Him? So how do we know? Everything is in the books. We want to know what He said. So read Bhagavad Gita and understand what He said and what all the instructions He gave us. And we want to know where He came from, right? So that spouse that you got to know, that you're going to get married to, you wanted to know from which village or which town they came from, what study they did, where they went, which school they went, and who are their parents, who are their uncles, what they did in which year. All these details we want to know. So we love Krishna, we want to know about Him. When He came, in which appearance, which avatar He came, in different forms, we want to know everything, all these details. And all these details are in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, faith also helps us, inspires us to seek those information, that kind of wisdom, and that is through the books. faith also encourages us to take a positive outlook, promoting optimism and hope even in the face of difficulties. So sometimes when we face difficulties, when everything is going wrong around us, or we are in a situation where we lost our job, or whatever we are trying is not working, in that moment, if we have faith, we can even see that as an opportunity. Right? Because sometimes when Krishna takes away something, it's just a matter of time that he will provide us with the right thing that we deserve. But we just need to have that faith to wait for it. Right? When I went through what I went through, there are many things that Krishna took away. Health, that strength that I had, physical strength, was gone. So when I look around, when I meet other patients, cancer patients, many feel very down, feel that, okay, I did surgery, I'm missing part of my body, this is not there, that is not there. You feel very down. But if you know that Krishna is with you, there are things that you can, different opportunities that come up, and you don't realize, oh really, I could do that. So I want to share with you today some of the activities that I've been doing from last year. I don't know if you've heard about dragon boating. So this is a boat with 22 ladies, and all are cancer survivors. And this is one sport that I've been practicing from last year. Some of you already know, I spoke to you about this. And this is my first medal that I got last year. And funny enough, that race was done in the morning, came home, I dressed up, rushed away for our Isckon Oakville Rath Yatra. I was Pujari that day. I was Pujari whole day. So I woke up in early, and Prabhu dropped me at the race. He came to put all the tents for the Rath Yatra, and then he went and picked me up. I got dressed and then came for the Rath Yatra. So that was the race day.
And
right?
full day you were standing up. Full day you were just...
And full day, yes. Krishna's mercy, that's Krishna's mercy. And even today I had a practice. From morning I had practice, came home, just showered, and I came here. So what I want to share with you is that this boating, I had never been, I've been on a boat, but I never thought that this is something that I could do. Right? So when Krishna takes something away from you, he also provides you other opportunities. And this is a way of sharing this awareness about cancer with other people. And also sharing that strength with other people that you can do it. When I joined, I was looking at all these other ladies and I thought, if they can do it, then I can do it too. So similarly, what I want to share with you today is whatever my journey has been, whatever you're going through, there is a possibility to get to come out of it strong. That's what I wanted to share with you. And now we're going to look at a story. Okay, this looks like Mauritius, but Mauritius is much more beautiful than that. So, this on an island. So, actually what happened, there was a ship that got wrecked, and there were 2 survivors. They ended up on an island. So among those 2 gentlemen who were the survivors, one was a devotee and the other one was a non-believer. So when they reached the island, the devotee says, wow, the Lord saved us. And the other one says, what do you mean, wow? Look at us, we are stuck on an island here, there's nothing here. I say, no, my Lord, He must have some plan for us. Okay, so they tried to find a shelter. They built a little hut and they stayed in that. It got some fruits and tried to eat some fruits and all. And in the middle of the night, their tent caught fire. That hut that they made with leaves and whatever caught fire. Now this person who is a non-believer, he said, look at what happened here. You're saying God has a plan for us. Look at this. He burned our tent. What kind of plan is this? And he got so upset. And then what happened, the next morning when they woke up, they saw a big ship coming towards them and saved them. And they asked the captain, how did you know that we were here? This is in such an isolated island. He said, well, last night when I was going by, I saw some smoke coming. That was the Lord's plan. When it seems that it's so, like we are in a situation that there's nothing, it seems that there's no way. But Krishna has a positive way for us. He has a plan for us. We just have to wait. Now the other question that we may ask, why do we suffer? Right? Why does he need to test us? Does he test our faith? If Krishna is the knower of everything, then why does he need to test us? Because he knows what's in our heart. He's present there in our heart. So why does he need to test us? Right? So our acharyas tell us that the Lord puts us in challenging situation for two reasons. Actually, one reason, but for different people, there's different reason. So for the pure devotees, the reason why the Lord puts in that kind of situation is for their glorification. So when we look at Prahlad Maharaj, when he was falling down from the cliff, when they were pushing him, he was just thinking about the Lord. He didn't say, oh, is he coming? No. He had full faith in the Lord. When he was in the fire by Holika, he had full faith in the Lord. So for his glorification, for glorification of his devotee, the Lord puts those kind of situations that inspires us. Right? And for neophyte devotees like me, he puts us in those kind of situations for our purification. Why purification? Because he gives us the opportunity to actually intensify our faith in him. Intensify our sadhana, our activities, our devotional service. So when we are in a situation that we are in a challenging situation, our point of view, our way of looking at our activities, our Krishna conscious activities becomes different. Last year when I was diagnosed, not last year, the year before, I shared that with Panchi Mataji, and just before we were going, I was going through my whole thing, we had the opportunity to go to Sadhu Sangha in Dallas. And Sadhu Sangha over there is kirtan going on for 3 days, from morning till evening. And Mataji told me one thing that stayed with me till now. She said, Premagarangi, you're going there, you will enjoy the kirtan the most. Among all these people, you would be enjoying the kirtan the most. I said, why? I said, because right now you need that faith in Krishna, and when you would be there, you would relish the kirtan. And sharing that with you, yes, I relish every single mantra that we heard. I relished it. Because in that situation that you know that Krishna is testing you, that Mahamantra that you're chanting would be with full faith, right? Intensified. So we don't actually need to be put in that situation to intensify our sadhana. But still, sometimes we do, because we become complacent. We get too comfortable in our activities. Then we do things mechanically, and that's why the Lord puts us in those kind of situations. Yeah. So I just remembered one thing. I am going to share that with you. It was a part of my class. So before, when we joined Krishna consciousness, one of my co-worker, he's the one who introduced us to Krishna consciousness. His Grace Maha Prakash Prabhu. Yeah. Kashyapuni Prabhu also would remember him, because we had common friends. So he introduced us to Krishna consciousness, and he was my co-worker. So in our office, there would be one person who drives really, really fast. And every time he would come to the office, oh, I hit this. Oh, I had an accident last night. Oh, I had that. So I don't know why that Prabhu was always taking a ride from him. I said, Prabhu, why do you take a ride from this person? You know how his driving is so reckless. I said, Mataji, when I'm in that car, my chanting is so intense. It's so sincere that I know that I need that. So that 1 hour that I drive back and forth, I have sincere chanting in Lord Krishna. So, yes, just to give you that example. Okay, so now we're going to look at the different degrees of faith. First degree is one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith. So meaning the person knows what is written in the books, knows who is Krishna, he has read the books, the Shastras, he has heard and understood what the acharyas are guiding, and that has helped the person to have full and firm faith in the Lord. So no question, because all the questions have already been answered in the books. Second class of faith is those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith have taken it up. Right? It happens to many of us because somebody in our family has told us that Krishna is the Supreme Lord from childhood, and then we prayed to him and we somehow got faith like that. But still we haven't understood what are in the books. Third class is who have neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith, but by association and simply are trying to follow. Okay, we heard, like, this is how we joined in the beginning. We heard that there's nice prasadam in Isckon. Right? So we just go because somebody told us. So we, by association, that's how we got to know, right? We're also going to look at what weakens our faith, right? So what weakens our faith is hearing and reading from non-bona fide sources. If we are reading from places, from information from people who are not bona fide, then we can easily get misled, right? So when you read in the Bhagavad Gita, whenever we are studying Bhagavad Gita, I'm just going to show you. There are 32 personalities, acharyas, who are mentioned in the parampara system. So it's very important that you know this. I think it's the last page of the introduction. Yeah, it's the last page of introduction. So you see here, if you're, how many of you have a Bhagavad Gita at home or with you? How many doesn't have? Okay, we all got. So take some time to look at the list of 32 personalities that you have here, starting from Krishna, going down to Srila Prabhupada. So there is a list of 32 personalities. Some were connected through initiation and some were connected just by getting the knowledge from their previous acharyas. So when you look at this, you would understand how it is bona fide. Now if you're hearing from somebody who is a self-proclaimed guru, who doesn't have anybody above him, then what's the guarantee that the information that you're getting is right? Right? So it's very important that we hear from bona fide sources. Because what happens when Srila Prabhupada came to the US, there were so many versions of Bhagavad Gita. And someone asked him, what's special about your version about of Bhagavad Gita? He said, it's Bhagavad Gita as it is, without any tweaks, without any difference in that. There are so many versions of Bhagavad Gita, but this Bhagavad Gita made so many devotees. Right? One time, I always take this example, but I remember that one time when we were doing distribution, someone came to me and I was trying to distribute Bhagavad Gita to him. He said, oh, Bhagavad Gita, I'm not interested. I said, I was trying to talk to him and he said, my dad wrote Bhagavad Gita. I said, who's your dad? I didn't know that Srila Prabhupada's son is in Canada. That also in Mississauga near the Indian grocery store. And he said, I said, who's your dad? He said, my dad, he retired and he had nothing to do, so he wrote Bhagavad Gita. So there are many versions like that of somebody who had nothing to do and just wrote and interpreted in his own version. But we have to hear and we have to read according to the proper parampara system and from the right source. And another thing is when we are sending our kids to school, we always check the rating of the school, don't we? We even buy a house because of the rating of the school close by. So when you are reading a book, you should see what's the potency of that book. How many devotees did that book make? That's how we're going to select it, right? Associating with multi-branched intelligence, so that weakens our faith. Because sometimes we get association into places where we get some different information and then we get confused because we are getting different information. Okay, this Krishna is an ordinary person. Sometimes he becomes God, or sometimes not. When you get these kind of information, you start getting misleaded, and that affects our faith. Deliberate, inattentive chanting. So when we are chanting without the effort of hearing Krishna's name and paying attention to the holy name, then also that affects our faith. Unrealistic expectation. When we are chanting or when we are serving the Lord with the expectation that we will get something material in return, then definitely that affects our faith. Right? Because we may be, okay, we are coming to the temple or we are chanting the name of the Lord and with the hope that within 10 days I will get that job that I want. Right? So in South Africa, His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj once was telling a pastime that in the temple he saw one person who would come every day and would give one flower, one banana, and one laddu to the Lord. So every day he will do like that. So 1 month passed and Maharaj went to him and said, "Wow, you're so dedicated. Every single day I see you bringing this offering to the Lord." He said, "Yes, I spoke to Krishna and I told Krishna, in 30 days, if you don't give me that cow that I want, I would stop offering you this." So we do not come here with this bargain mentality. If we come with this bargain mentality, then there is no faith. Whatever we do without expectation of the results. Everything is up to Him. Whatever He gives us, we accept. Right? Proud of our spiritual or material achievement, that also affects our faith. Right? In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "Prakrite kriyamanani sarvasaha ahankara himanati." Yeah? So if we think that I am the doer, then definitely there is no space for Krishna. So if we got that position, we got that promotion, and we think, "Oh, I worked really hard, that's why I got it," then there is no scope. We are not even giving Him the space to come, and we are not even seeing His hand in our achievements. Right? So it's very important that we give Lord Krishna the credit that is due to Him. And if we commit offenses, definitely that affects our faith. And one of the biggest offense to the holy name, there are 10 offenses to the holy name, but the first and foremost offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives to propagating Krishna consciousness. So if we commit offenses like this, Krishna will remove Himself from our heart, from our mind, and definitely that would affect our faith. Because Lord Krishna mentions in the Srimad Bhagavatam that if we see Him only on the altar and we don't see Him in the heart of the people around, then that is a big mistake. Because we are not able to see the Lord in everyone's heart. And that makes us commit offenses, and then He removes Himself from us. What happens to those who do not have faith? Mataji, can you please read the translation?
Translation?
No.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world.
Thank you, Mataji. So Lord Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that those who do not have faith cannot attain me. Right? And where do they go? They have to return to the path of birth and death in this material world again. Now we've understood why it is important. We've understood what makes it what weakens our faith. But we also have to understand how to build faith. Right? So Srila Prabhupada shows us. One of the Prabhus, can you please read it aloud? Prabhu?
To increase this faith or keep this faith, you have to live with faithful servants of Krishna. The Isckon center is need for giving a chance to the common people to get association of devotees. আদৌ শ্রদ্ধা তত্ত্ব সাধু সঙ্গ থা অজনক্রিয়া
Thank you, Prabhu. This is coming from
চৈতন্য চরিতামৃত ভৈতরিতা 23:40.
them. So, Srila Prabhupada has created this Isckon, has founded this Isckon to provide us with this opportunity to build our faith. So everyone who is coming here, take the time to understand the 7 purposes of Isckon. Why Srila Prabhupada founded this movement. And if we are able to understand that, we would see how he wanted us to get together and to start building that faith in the Lord. Right? And this is the platform that he is provided, and we are thankful that we have one in Oakville. And today on a Sunday afternoon or evening, we could be anywhere else, right? But we chose to come here. So let's hear it for all of you. Because you made that choice of coming here. And this is an opportunity that you have to get together to build the faith in the Lord. Read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam daily. So after reading Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada says, after reading Bhagavad Gita, if one does not have developed faith in Lord Krishna, then it is a complete waste of time. So many times people say, I've read Bhagavad Gita, I know Bhagavad Gita. But do they have faith in the Lord? So we have to read in a way, study, not just read like we are reading a pastime or something. We have to study the books and study, and by studying, by understanding, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many pastimes. Gajendra Moksha, right? We see how in such kind of situation he was, one leg is already stuck with by that crocodile, right? And in that desperate situation, he's begging, he's praying. We see Prahlad Maharaj in so many situations, so many challenges. We see Ambarish Maharaj in a situation of misunderstanding. There are so many examples. We have also so many pastimes out there in Srimad Bhagavatam that inspires us to develop that faith in the Lord, because we see how he took care of his devotees, right? And looking at how he took care of his devotees, we know that he's going to take care of us, right? Lord Krishna is known as Bhaktavatsala, right? Bhaktavatsal, because he comes and he takes care of his devotees. And sometimes if he's not able to come personally, what does he do? He sends his associates. And it's up to us to recognize who are those associates, right? So it's very important that we stay tuned. We are mindful in all the activities that we are doing, and we see the presence of the Lord. Now another information, danger zone. To avoid the association of those who weaken our faith, because you would be going and be exposed to places to people who will challenge your faith. So sometimes people want to debate with you. Now, is it worth it debating? If we are not strong, if we are not very knowledgeable about what's written in the books, just avoid the situation, because this can affect our faith, right? There are so many people out there. I remember Sadhujanan Prabhu used to tell us in Bangladesh there would be somebody who would post those videos and making fun of how people offer bhoga to Krishna, right? Making fun of so many. They will challenge you. People will challenge, say, your Krishna is not eating, why are you putting in front of him? Right? But we can, if we know what's in our books, we can counteract those kind of arguments. But if we don't know, then better stay away, avoid those people. Because that will affect our faith in the Lord. And I was watching there was a show, a movie, I think it's Kerala Story. Yeah, that was like right on. Because people don't know, right? They don't know what's in the books. They're not strong enough. Then easily they can get their faith in the Lord can get weakened. We'll end with a little story. I mean, the kids are not here, but I chose these pictures just for us to. So maybe you know already. This is just the pastime of Brahmana and a cobbler and Narad Muni. So it so happened that Narad Muni was traveling as usual. He's traveling everywhere, and he comes across a Brahmana who, as usual, was doing his daily activities, chanting his Gayatri and offering bhog and doing all his spiritual activities. And when he saw Narad Muni, he asked Narad Muni, where are you going? And Narad Muni says, I'm going to see Lord Vishnu. So he says, if you're going to see Lord Vishnu, can you ask Lord Vishnu when am I going to see him, when I'm going to his abode? He said, yes, sure, I will ask. And then Narad Muni, on his way again, he sees a cobbler who is doing his job, repairing shoes and all. And he asks, the cobbler sees Narad Muni and asks Narad Muni, where are you going? And Narad Muni says, I'm going to see Lord Vishnu. So he says, can you please ask my Lord, when am I going to see him? So Narad Muni says yes, and he goes to Lord Vishnu, and he asks Lord Vishnu, I met these two people on the way, and they ask, when am I going to see you? When are they going to see you? So Lord Vishnu says, tell the Brahmana that he will see me after 1,000 lifetimes. And tell the cobbler that he will see me very soon. So when he goes there and he says, and before he leaves, Lord Vishnu tells Narad Muni, they will ask you, what was I doing when you saw me? So you tell them that I was threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. We all know how to thread a needle, right, with a thread. And many of us cannot, still we struggle. But Lord Vishnu is saying, tell him that I was threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. So when Narad Muni passes by, he sees the Brahmana and he says, he tells the Brahmana, I met Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu said that you will be coming after 1,000 births. So he's like, did you see Lord Vishnu? Said yes. And are you sure you saw Lord Vishnu? Yes, I saw him. What was he doing when you saw him? He said, when I saw him, he was threading an elephant to the eye of a needle. The Brahmana starts laughing and he says, you're joking. How is that possible? You didn't see Lord Vishnu. Because it's not possible to thread an elephant through the eye of a needle. So Narad Muni continues his journey and he meets the cobbler. And he meets the cobbler, and the cobbler asks him, what did Lord Vishnu tell you? He said, Lord Vishnu said that he will come quite soon. He said, really? He said that? Jai, he was so happy. He said, what was my Lord doing when you saw him? He said, when I saw him, he was putting an elephant to the eye of a needle. I said, really, he was doing that? Very beautiful. So Narad Muni said, did you believe me when I said that? He said, of course I believed you. I said, well, how come? He said, well, he was sitting right under a banyan tree. He said, if my Lord can put such a huge tree in such a small seed, can he just put an elephant to the eye of a needle? So this Brahmana who has been doing his Gayatris on time, who's been praying to the Lord every day, was doing everything so mechanically, but he cannot trust he doesn't have faith when he was told that the Lord can put an elephant to the eye of a needle. So dear devotees, I'm going to leave you with this food for thought. Introspect and see where do we stand in our journey in Krishna consciousness and how much faith we have in the Lord. Today we discussed about the importance of having faith, the different degrees of faith, what weakens our faith, and how to develop faith. So those are the points that we discussed, and now I think this is the end of our session. So I'd like to thank you for your attention. And if I made any mistakes, please forgive me. And please bless me so that I can continue serving Srila Prabhupada's mission. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I brought this book to show you. Yeah, this is a book that I am reading right now. I just got it last week from Vrindavan, and this book is written by His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagwat Swami. It's a conversation between Maharaj and Kamala Devi Dasi. Kamala Devi Dasi is from Mauritius. She passed away in 2022, I think, because of breast cancer. And this is a conversation between her and Maharaj. And Maharaj helped her at her last moment to remember Krishna. So what I wanted to share with you is that when we have the right association of devotees, so when we have that right association with devotees who can remind us of having faith in the Lord even at our last moment, Lord Krishna will make sure that there is somebody there who will remind us. So if we have faith in Him, He will make all the arrangements. So this is a very nice book. The Mataji was a disciple of His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, and His Holiness Brihad Bhagwat Maharaj was also there narrating, beautiful narrating about the pastimes of Radharani, Krishna, and Nityananda, like connecting all these pastimes. And like if you're able to remember that at the moment you're living, that's an amazing fortune. So yeah, I wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody has any questions?
I was actually just yawning. No. Joe, I actually want to ask you about the class. You mentioned the class of faith. So you mentioned class 1, 2, and 3. So I guess I just wanted to ask you, is that a hierarchy or what is the goal? Because I know people in all 3 of those classes, personally. So.
Yeah, people can be in all the 3 classes, but you should aim to get to the point where you have that firm faith, right? So yes, it is a hierarchy, and we should hanker to get to that point where we have that firm faith in the Lord, that we can, like how we took the example of that cobbler, right? Just by hearing the pastime of the Lord, he already knows, yes, this is possible because he can do this, right? And that is only possible, like I mentioned, in that the 3rd degree of faith it happens when you're conversant with what the Lord has mentioned, plus what he has done.
And just to add into there, though, if you're in class 2 and you have a strong faith, but you only have limited knowledge of the scriptures. So isn't that the cobbler? It wasn't in class 1.
He didn't read, but he has that strong faith in the Lord, that belief what was taking him to the class 1, because he was not the best class. Why? Because he didn't question. Right?
So someone who has faith, almost like I don't want to call it blind faith, but you understand where I'm going, right?
Yes, yes.
Someone
I see
has a
what
strong faith and a
Yeah.
belief, even if they don't know the Bhagavatam or the Gita, they have limited knowledge or no knowledge, they're still basically treated as a class 1, or they would be considered that.
Yes, if somebody doesn't know the books, but he has that trust in the Lord, firm faith, then definitely. Like there's one beautiful example, one beautiful pastime of Lord Chaitanya. So in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, there was one person who couldn't read properly. He couldn't read, so he you know that pastime, right? So he used to take the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, and he would look at it, and he would take the book. Like he doesn't know how to read, right? He would hold it like this, but every time he's crying. He's crying, and everybody would make fun of him. Look at him, he's an illiterate, he doesn't know how to read. But he's crying, so he's faking it. So then Lord Chaitanya asked him, why are you crying? He said, look at this picture. This is my Lord, the Supreme Lord, and see how merciful he is. He is seated as a charioteer, and he is a servant of his devotee. So just by looking at that, he's crying because he's feeling that love of the Lord. So yes, I see where you're going. So we are not promoting blind faith. We want, because in this age of Kali, people will ask questions and people will challenge you. So the reason why we are putting the books ahead is that we should be properly equipped with those information. But sometimes some people are not able to read or to understand. Like for example, my dad, he hasn't gone to school, he doesn't understand, but he hears and he looks at the books. He took the step of taking initiation in Krishna consciousness, and he chants his 16 rounds every day. So what I'm trying to say is that even though you cannot read, then definitely you can make the effort of hearing and understanding the Lord. But if you going without knowing, without knowledge, you're not making an effort, and you are able to read and you're able to educate yourself, but you're not making that effort, then it will be like blind faith. Right? I hope I was able to answer your question, Paul.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
My question is that does faith also make a connection with the cultural conditioning? Is it a type of a conditioning which affects our faith and the development and the way the degrees? Is it a conditioning? Or
Yeah,
does
because we have accumulated some samskar from before, no? So this will definitely affect us. But we have to make that effort of moving, getting to know more about that, about increasing our faith in the Lord. Like I cannot take other people's example, I can take only my example. So I grew up in a family where we didn't believe in deity worship, right? So we were brought up only doing yajnas, and we were asked to meditate. So when I was growing up, I was meditating and I didn't see the Lord. I wasn't feeling that connection with the Lord. So for me, I wanted to see something concrete. I want to see a form of the Lord. I want to be able to talk to Him. So this is what pushed me to go out of my way and research. right? So I was researching, and when I met my coworker, I would challenge him with questions, and I wanted to know more. And then I joined the Bhagavad Gita reading, Bhagavad Gita study. That's how I got my questions answered, right? So if yes, definitely your conditioning will affect it, but you have to get out of that conditioning to make that effort to build a faith in the Lord. So I hope I was able to see the question. Prabhuji, please don't ask questions. You shouldn't be. I should be asking you questions.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for a very nice class. Now I am confused whether I should ask a question or whether I should do a reflection. So I was planning to do a reflection. So maybe I'll just do a reflection.
That would be perfect.
So what I have seen in my experience is that whenever there is a challenge comes in our lives, we tend to lose our faith. Our faith goes down basically. But what my experience tells, my recent experience tells me is that whenever this kind of situations comes, these challenges comes in your life, they actually are like an express elevator. Use them as an express elevator to increase your faith and to not only that, but to get your like any anarthas within you. You can focus on them to get rid of them. And this it may be a very short period of time, but that period will actually take you from here to here straight away. So this kind of challenges, don't treat them as that like why Krishna, why, but treat them as actually a ladder, an express elevator, getting your faith back into existence. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for being here.
Any more questions?
I would.
So Mataji, there is one contradiction with what you have said. We use God as our stepping stone of fulfilling our earthly desires. But isn't it earthly desires leads us to enlightenment? I have read many places. During our good time, definitely we tend to forget Lord. We are just busy with our happy life. But during a tough time, definitely we come back to Krishna or the God. So isn't it something we are going through or suffering and we want to come out of it? That's why, or that's how our devotion gets increased. So what is that? I mean, we should not be doing that. We should be just praying without having any expectation. But isn't it when we are born as a human being on this earth, we have going through many kinds of suffering, ups and downs in our life. But during our tough time, definitely we come back to Lord. So is it the right way, or we should not be doing, or we should be doing without having any expectations? I mean, that is the only hope we get during our tough time. If we go, if we pray, if we are sincere, might be things will change. So we should not be having those hope.
Mataji, my first question to you would be, do you know why you're here in this material world?
To definitely come out of this cycle of birth and death.
But how did you get into this cycle of birth and death?
Something which we have already decided in our past life. I don't know that we will be getting rebirth in this life or Kali Yuga, and I have read that we choose our suffering also. Something like this, we will be suffer in this life, and with our faith we will come out of it and we will prove to the world this works, or something like that.
So just to share with you what we have in the books. So we are here because of our desires. We were all with Lord Krishna. We are all His kids. But we chose that we want to enjoy independently from Him. So and we have that free will that He gives us, that we can choose to enjoy independently. And we made that choice. We had some personal desires. And He provided us with a platform where we can enjoy independently. And He also gave us a guardian. You know how in the jail there's a jailer. And the jailer for this material world is Maya Devi. And she does a very good job into keeping us into that jail. So now it's up to us how long we want to renew this subscription that we have in this jail. How many years in all-inclusive hotel that we are staying? Or do we want to get out of it and go back to our home with Him? Because when we are with Him, we are eternally happy. This Atma is eternal. And our eternal happiness is when we are with Him, Sachit Ananda Vigraha. But what we are doing, we are eternal, but we are trying to find happiness in a temporary place. And we are not able to find that happiness. We will never find that happiness because everything that we are having here will expire after some time. So it is wiser to find that happiness which is eternal. And we should make that effort to connect to Him. Now answering the fact that should we just remember Him in our problem, or should we remember Him in our day-to-day life? Right? So you have a child, you have kids, and they go to school. Now if your child has exam tomorrow, and he never revised throughout the whole year, and tomorrow he goes to the exam, he tries to read a little bit tonight, and tomorrow he goes to the exam and they say, okay, it's an open book exam. He takes the book. He doesn't even know where to open because he never read the book. That is a problem. So for us to remember Him at that moment where we are desperate, for us to remember Him at that last moment where we are taking our last breath, we have to practice throughout the journey. Because we won't remember Him. We would remember Maya Devi. Right? I always tell you that story about that person who was dying, and when he was dying, his wife standing right next to him and saying, oh, who's gonna take care of our house? Who's gonna ride our new car? Who's gonna enjoy this and that? And who's gonna pay our mortgage? This is what would happen. But if we practice remembering Him throughout our life, then even at the last moment we would remember Him in every situation. Else we would try to find solutions on our own. So we have to make that effort. I hope
Thank
I
you
was
so much.
able
Yeah.
to.
But just one thing, what should be our attitude during our tough time in this Kali Yuga when we are really going through hardship?
Yes, definitely. When we are going through hardship, we have to have that faith in Him that He's going to take care. Right? There's a beautiful story that His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Maharaj says about a king who was looking for a gift that his people can give him that will make him happy when he's in moment of distress and would keep him sad when he's happy. So one of the person came and gave him a ring, and in the ring it says, this also shall pass. Right? So when you're in the moment of happiness, you have to remember that this also shall pass. And when you're in a moment of distress, you have to remember that this also shall pass. Right? So if we have that faith, He's taking care, He's going to take us out of there, this also shall pass. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Manoj. So next will be our closing kirtan. But before we go to